Han meets Leia's ex-boyfriend, and Phasma does, well, more Phasma things. All in this week's episode of Star Wars Weekly. Hello everybody, my name is Starrapter and welcome back to the channel. If you're new, I talk about Star Wars every single week, everything from the comics, novels, and the TV series, plus more. This week I'm focusing on the two new Marvel comics that came out. The first one is a big deal. This one is Star Wars, issue number 68. This is Rogues and Rebels. This is very important because this begins a new creative team. We have Phil Noto on artwork, he's phenomenal, and we have Greg Pak, who has just finished his run for the Star Wars Age of Rebellion series. So this is taking us very close to the events of The Empire Strikes Back. We even have like a shot-for-shot exact image of that Star Destroyer right after the crawl, and they actually repeat part of the crawl in this opening sequence. We have the Probe Droids, which are being dispersed throughout the galaxy, thousands of them being sent out by Darth Vader to find the hidden Rebel base. So what the Rebels are doing is they're actually trying to lead these Probe Droids astray. So that's why we have three teams of Rebels. We have Luke, we have R2, then we have Chewie and C-3PO doing their thing, and we have Han and Leia doing their thing. They all have different missions. Luke is going to this planet in his X-Wing, trying to lure them away from a rebel group. Then Chewie and C-3PO are going to this planet that's very unstable. They're going to detonate the planet with these charges and hope that they take out some of these Imperials that they end up drawing close enough to the planet. They hopefully get caught in a blast. And we have Han and Leia. They're on this planet where it's kind of a criminal underworld planet, and they are trying to get things mixed up with the Empire to actually turn on these guys and cause all this ruckus. So that's basically the gist of this issue. Is it's all very much a setup issue, but it does a great job with really telling us like we are very close to the events of The Empire Strikes Back. First off, I love seeing General Riken and a Nebulon B cruiser, so that that right away says, okay, we haven't seen General Riken yet, and I believe any kind of canon material. So I'm very much appreciating to see these different characters show up. I also did enjoy seeing Han kind of worried about his debt with Jabba, and I'm hoping we find out more about Ord Mantell and the bounty hunter, as he mentions in Empire Strikes Back. I'd like to see that C-3PO is actually bonding with Chewie, and we see now that why Chewie would care about C-3PO enough to try to rebuild him in Empire Strikes Back. I did think it was a little bit strange that they did encounter, this is Chewie and C-3PO, they did encounter these rock people. We've kind of seen that in a way with the Yoda's secret arc, Secret War arc earlier in the flagship series. But overall, this is a great issue. I feel like this issue was even longer than it actually was. There was a lot jam-packed in this issue. Like I said, it's a lot to kind of get the ball moving with what's going on in this arc. The great thing is we have a brand new issue out in just 2 weeks, so can't wait to see this continue. And the other comic that I mentioned we have this week is Age of Resistance, Captain Phasma issue number 1. So we are continuing this journey along with these Age of series. This one is called Fallen Guns, and this is obviously, well, before the events of The Force Awakens. And this shows us the First Order in all-out war. They are in the unknown regions. They are taking on these adversaries from this planet called Demir, which is also called the Iron Planet. They have to take over the stronghold. They can't really just bomb this. They need, I guess, the resources for whatever reason that they don't tell us. But this is all about from the point of view of this other stormtrooper, and she is aspiring to be like Captain Phasma, and she learns the hard way how ruthless that Captain Phasma can be, because throughout this adventure, she is trying to do everything she can to get promoted to be like, she wants to have a name, right? Because she has a certain designated number, and, well, Phasma basically tells her, look, like, you can't waste time thinking about your fallen comrades, because what happens in this issue, they're in this all-scale war. One of her comrades gets wounded. She goes back to try to help this guy, and in that case, she almost gets killed. Phasma sort of saves them by throwing this wounded character onto a thermal detonator to save them both. So she learns this lesson from Phasma about doesn't matter if they're wounded, they're going to slow you down, you got to keep marching forward. And it gets to the point where Phasma sort of connives her own comrades to lure out these people and have the ties go and kill her own people plus the other enemies that they draw it out. And when this trooper finds out that this happens, she tries to actually kill Phasma, which is pretty impressive. and she obviously gets killed right after that. So this is an issue that we don't really learn a whole lot of Captain Phasma. If you've read the miniseries that came out during the Journey to the Last Jedi, and if you have read the Phasma novel, you're going to already have a good idea of why, Phasma would appear this way, but it's a one-shot issue, so it just gives us a very quick story of like, yeah, this is Phasma, this is how she acts. She doesn't really care about her troops a whole lot. It's all about her survival. But yeah, I did like seeing this glance at the First Order from the perspective of in the unknown regions, because we learned a lot. That's where they gathered their power. We haven't really seen what was going on in the background too much, so it's nice to see that, okay, this is what the First Order is up to when they're not actually trying to destroy the New Republic or the Resistance. And those aliens they were going up against were pretty interesting because they had this really good weaponry, these different kind of vehicles that were impervious to blasters. Awesome stuff there. We also see an ATST and FO ATST, which is pretty cool. We haven't really seen a lot of them. Well, yeah, Battlefront 2 maybe. But overall, like, this is a good story. And it kind of makes sense that they're leading with these stories like Finn and Phasma first in Age of Resistance series because, yeah, we're not going to really learn a lot about these characters, but I think they're holding the better, more enticing stories, in my opinion, for later on. Like, we got that Kylo Ren story, the Supreme Leader Snoke story. But, yeah, I mean, I'll read a Phasma story whenever I can get one because I think the character is still pretty cool. And, well, I just wish we kind of learned a little bit more about it. There's still something a little bit mysterious about the character. Next up is my question for the week. This one comes to me on YouTube from user Robin McCormick. He is asking me, why does George Lucas feel the Sith don't deserve the power to come back from the dead? So he's talking about the ghost, the Force ghost, and about, oh yeah, the Jedi have Force ghosts, Yoda, Anakin, Obi-Wan, all these characters that follow the light side of the Force get it, but why haven't we really seen anything with the dark side? So you can kind of take it back to the Clone Wars. One of the final arcs in Season 6 was Yoda going to Morban, and he does see the ghost of Darth Bane. And that's our first canonical appearance of Darth Bane. So in a way, I guess that's kind of how it feels like he can come back from the dead in a sense. And I'm thinking that's what Robin McCormick is going for on this question he asked me. But then another thing that's very interesting is in the comics, the Darth Vader comics by Charles Soule and Giuseppe Camuncoli, the best comics yet. You guys got to check them out. There is this arc talks about Mustafar and about this artifact called Lord Momin that in his helmet. Basically, his helmet is imbued with the dark side, and it has the essence of a dark side user. And whoever puts on this helmet basically gets manipulated by this spirit of the dark side that is inhabited in this helmet and kind of possesses the person that wears the helmet. So even though the Sith don't have a lot of appearances in that kind of ghost form, they do persist in different things like artifacts and whatnot. But I wouldn't hold too much thought to this right now because we still have the Rise of Skywalker coming up, and we know that the Emperor is going to be in there. It's confirmed he's going to be in there. Yes, we don't know what kind of form he's going to be in. Is he going to be a hologram? Is he going to be a ghost? Is he actually going to be in the flesh? Is he going to be a clone? What's his deal? So I would like to revisit this question further on after I see Rise of Skywalker, because I feel like we're going to get a lot more information pertaining to this in that movie. But that is going to do it for my question of the week. If you guys want to get your questions into me, you can go ahead and send them to me through YouTube or Twitter. Make sure you use the hashtag Star Wars Weekly. Next week, we can look forward to Dr. Aphra issue number 34, as well as TIE Fighter issue number 4. So what do you think of the brand new creative team of Star Wars issue number 68? I really enjoyed the artwork. Forgot to mention that. What do you think of the Age of Resistance Captain Phasma? Have you been enjoying those issues? Let's talk about them in the comment section below. Guys, if you're new to the channel, welcome. I talk about Star Wars a heck of a lot, but I also talk about other things such as Stranger Things Season 3. They had that season come out. I reviewed that, as well as I reviewed Spider-Man Far From Home. Lots of great movies coming out. So if that content interests you and you like this conversation, go ahead and simply support the channel by subscribing. So that's going to do it for me, Starrapter. Thank you guys so much for watching, and may the Force be with you always. Thanks for checking out the video. Please hit that thumbs up symbol. It helps me know that I'm making content that you guys enjoy. And if you enjoyed this video, I also include 2 videos down below you guys should check out. And please consider subscribing to this channel. It helps support me and it notifies you guys of when I get new videos up on the channel. You can also contact me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Starrapter.